All right, to me, this is turning into a bad Abbott and Costello movie. The president seems to have completely reversed himself. I'm not talking about the stupid, G20 summit and him talking to Vladimir Putin. To me, much ado about nothing. I am saying the clear about face he's been doing on this health care thing. Today, saying senators have no choice. He's telling us to the guys who are gathered there today, they have to repeal and replace. They should not leave town without approving the health care legislation. Now, back to my Abbott and Costello analogy. This comes just a day after he said this.
Let Obamacare fail. We're not going to own it. I'm not going to own it. I can tell you the Republicans are not going to own it. We'll let Obamacare fail, and then the Democrats are going to come to us, and they're going to say, how do we fix it? How do we fix it? Or how do we come up with a new plan?
Let it fail. Don't let it fail. All right, that's the best I can do. To presidential historian, Game of Thrones author, Doug Wead. Doug, I don't get it. I mean, those are two very diametrically opposed strategies. Today, he's telling Republicans, essentially forget what I said yesterday, but refocus, double your efforts to get something done on this front. What happened?
Yeah, he might land on his feet with this thing because remember he got elected because we were tired of politics as usual, and he was a pox on both their houses, the Republicans and the Democrats. So if he looks to the voters like, hey, I'm trying, they're not doing it, it's just possible he'll come out of this with the people who elected him saying, come on, you Democrats and you Republicans, help this guy.
Oh, that's it. You're always a smart guy and always get an interesting read from you, that this might be a pivot on his own part to sort of say, I'm not going to go down with this ship. If they're screwing up or they're not getting stuff done, I won't take the blame for it, which is, I think, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's right. The Donald Trump presidency will be measured, and he'll be reelected or not, based on direction, not how fast he's going, how he gets all these things done. 2 cars leaving New York City for Chicago. One's going west at 10 miles an hour. One's going south at 100 miles an hour. And the news media is just totally preoccupied with process, but it's direction. The next morning, the car going west at 10 miles an hour is going to be closer to Chicago. And the American people elected him to pick the right Supreme Court justice. George Herbert Walker Bush, polished, wonderful president, some would say, professional, but he picked David Souter, and Trump picked Neil Gorsuch.
No,
so
right,
in the end, they'll give him some time.
Wasn't what we thought. But let me get your thought on the other controversy that's out there, or the appearance of one this time. The president at the G20 summit, a very public forum, got up and sat down with Vladimir Putin. We're told talked anywhere from a few minutes to an hour. I don't know what the truth is. But a lot of people are aghast at that. And I'm figuring at the same time, Doug, this is a room essentially full of politicians who got elected leaders of their country and their spouses, each country bringing a cameraman to boot. So it's well televised. Why is this a big deal now?
Well, partly it's a big deal because we were naughty and we elected Donald Trump president, and the media's never going to forgive us.
But is it so unusual for this to happen? You're an historian. I mean, there were meetings with leaders of presidents before with Soviet or Russian officials. We knew of a 1-hour meeting John Kennedy had with Nikita Khrushchev that was more like 3 hours. So I guess what I'm saying is, why is this so big? Because of the baggage with the whole Russian interference thing, or should it be?
Yes, and that they don't like Trump. I mean, even Reagan, you remember, when he had his private sessions, the media went berserk in Reykjavik. They were saying, hey, you mean he was alone? You let him alone with the Soviet premier? They couldn't believe
and it was
that Ronald Reagan
was
old enough to be able to talk by himself. Yeah. So that's par for the course. We don't trust our presidents.
There you go again, Doug Wead.